Hello everyone, and welcome to the Astro Consciousness channel. I'm Millie, and I am here to give you your forecast for the week of November 18th through the 24th. In this channel, we talk about the astrological energy of the week ahead and how you can integrate it into your personal and spiritual growth. As always, I want to begin with a recap of where we're coming from in order to understand where we are headed. And this week, we begin the week still under the influence of the full moon in Taurus that took place on Friday, November 15th. It was a very potent full moon in Taurus that was in conjunction to Uranus in Taurus. So I want to talk about a few of the themes that I noticed as I was consulting clients in coaching sessions with clients around the themes leading up to that full moon in Taurus. One of the biggest themes being the theme of death. Now, not necessarily literal deaths, but the death of a part of our lives. And I found that to be really interesting because several people use that particular word in different ways, right? No, that job is dead. No, that relationship is dead. I am afraid of death, right? I am afraid of the potential death of a family member. So when Pluto is in a position where we are truly experiencing the pressure of it, we're experiencing a sensitive point of it, like the way we have been with Pluto at the 29th degree of Capricorn. These are the things that may come up because Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth. And these are the things that we truly begin to notice, and we start using it, we start feeling it viscerally, we start using the words in our conversations, the thoughts come up. And so if you're someone who has the awareness and the tools to understand what's happening in the cosmos, or just understand what's happening energetically, pay attention to what's happening in your life, you understand that that would make sense. This becomes really important because as we move through this week coming up, obviously, Pluto is going to finally leave the sign of Capricorn and move into the sign of Aquarius and remain there till January of 2044. And so these last bits of Pluto in Capricorn with such a potent full moon in Taurus that had a conjunction to Uranus, it was the understanding, the final landing of how we're being liberated from something old, from something outdated, from something that can no longer come with us in this new chapter of life, which to me is indicated by Pluto in Aquarius. So I really invite you to think about how the week leading up to November 15th, you just had these landings. You had these, perhaps you had a lot of reflection, either internal reflection or someone reflecting back to you something that you have been thinking about for quite some time, mulling over, going back and forth, and you realize, no, this is it. This is the new truth, and I'm ready for it, and I'm ready to move forward with it. Okay? It's so important that we understand that because the week ahead is actually going to move very quickly as we move into Sagittarius season, which is, fire energy. And I understand that we're headed towards a Mercury retrograde. And yet, the sun in Sagittarius says, I'm looking ahead, I'm dreaming big, I am optimistic about the future. So, with that said, let's get started. Monday, November 18th, I actually really love the beginning of the week because the moon is transiting the sign of Cancer. So here we have a much softer energy than what we've been experiencing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The moon in Cancer softens a lot of things. We might feel a little emotional. We might feel like we want to be in our own space, or at the very least in spaces with people where we feel safe. The sun in Scorpio is also going to be creating a trine to Neptune retrograde in Pisces at 27 degrees of each. That's a lot of water energy. So if there is some release that you need to do, especially if something really significant or important or difficult manifested for you in last week's full moon in Taurus, by all means, take the time to do that. That moon in Cancer is like mama energy. What do you need to take care of yourself? Um, you know, chicken soup for the soul kind of thing. Maybe you want to be in your blanket. It's a great day. But if you want to process something heavy with someone, great day for therapy, for coaching, or to simply be with a friend that understands you and holds space for you in that way. Really great energy to be around water, to be really settled. It's so important that we take these moments that the cosmos gifts us with, especially after moments of perhaps a lot of tension or just a lot of energy that our bodies are always processing, right? So there's a lot of softness there. And the sun in Scorpio is going to be within an orb of a trine to that Neptune retrograde in Pisces, really Monday through Wednesday. So the softness remains there. And I really invite you to take advantage of that if that's something you need. Um, on the other hand, it's great energy for downloads, for creativity, right? You might feel incredibly intuitive. Your dreams might hold a lot of information for you. Um, for those of you who journal and you feel like you channel when you journal, this is also great energy for that, particularly Monday and Tuesday, because the moon will be in Cancer, activating that grand water trine between the sun in Scorpio, Neptune in Pisces, and that moon transiting the sign of Cancer. Also, on Monday, November 18th, we have Mercury in Sagittarius create an opposition to Jupiter retrograde in Gemini. And Mercury getting ready to retrograde as well, things are not clear. This doesn't mean deception. This just means a lack of clarity. It can just feel like you're trying to have a conversation with someone and you two are just not landing on the same idea. Um, Maybe you're having like a creative conversation with someone, you're brainstorming, and it's just a lot. So on the one hand, if we're talking about creativity here, I think this can be a whiteboard full of ideas. Not all of them are going to be used, and we're not going to feel the same way about them in about a month, but write them all down, right? The sticky notes with all the ideas everywhere, because I think there will be an abundance of ideas. And when we feel this type of energy, the way it can feel inside of us in our body, it can feel like I just need to get this out. I need to write this, I need to create this, I need to say this. So whatever it is that you need to do to get all of this energy, this busy, buzzy energy, which is the feeling it gives me, out of your body, do that. Now, when it comes to having conversations with someone else, I think that the grand water trine happening at the same time as this can lend itself to conversations that can help ease something, right? We're not necessarily coming to something concrete because we're still missing some information, or there might still be a lack of clarity within the self, but we can begin to have certain conversations to try and gain some understanding. Conversations started this week where it's just at the beginning, because this opposition between Mercury and Sagittarius, considering that Sagittarius is going to retrograde next week, the week of November 25th, is going to repeat itself twice. So the first opposition is November 18th, the second is December 4th, and the third one is December 26th. I like to give you guys these dates because this is the beginning, the middle, and the end. And I've given you dates of when Mercury in Sagittarius is going to create a square to Saturn. I gave you that in the Mercury retrograde and Mars retrograde video. So I invite you to bring these dates together, to bring these themes together and understand. If you don't want to dive into it, just simply understand that something is just not clear right now, and that it will clear up, I would say, by the beginning of January. Okay. Tuesday, November 19th, we have Mercury in Sagittarius creating a trine to Chiron retrograde in Aries. To me, this feels like having the courage to speak your truth in the simplest terms, right? Mercury in Sagittarius, this is my truth. The trine to Chiron in Aries and is saying, it scares me a little bit to say this thing. It scares me a little to put myself out there on social media. It scares me a little to send that email to see if I can work with someone. It's kind of just shoot your shot, see what happens, right? Because Mercury is getting ready to retrograde. But remember what I said a few moments ago. You might want to collaborate with someone. This might be the thing that says, okay, maybe not right now, but let's have a few more conversations. If this has to do with personal relationships, Mercury in Sagittarius trine Chiron retrograde. It's not a very warm and fuzzy feeling in terms of having conversations with others, but it's very honest. And the trine between two fire signs can go one of two ways. If both people involved or whomever is involved can handle the level of honesty of everyone involved, right? We can be very clear, we can be very direct, then there's a healing that can occur there because there's something very honest of being able to communicate very clearly and directly in our personal relationships, but not everyone can hold that, and that's okay, right? The flip side to this is that this trine between these two placements is, well, my pain is greater than yours. Well, I suffered more than you. A little victimy, but covered in a little bit of self-righteousness, right? Mercury and Sagittarius in a lower expression can be quite a know-it-all. It can be, I am superior because I know more. There is an opportunity for honest conversations and not much of an outcome. Not just yet. If this is more of an internal process, you have no one to really talk to about anything at this moment in time, you don't want to send any emails or reach out to anyone to work with them or collaborate with them. This Mercury in Sagittarius trine Chiron in Aries is this is what I envision for myself. I'm optimistic about the future. I'm excited about my future, right? Mercury and Sagittarius, thinking Mercury about the future, Sagittarius about a bigger vision and being optimistic about it. And the trine to Chiron to Aries is the understanding that you're going to have to go beyond yourself. You're going to have to move past certain insecurities, past certain hurts that you may have experienced throughout this year, especially with the eclipses in Aries Libra. You're going to have to move past the pain, transcend the pain a little bit of individuating yourself and being hopeful for it, right? And really beginning to think about, what does this chapter of my life look like? Because after last week's full moon in Taurus, it was made very clear what we are being liberated from or what we're being invited to liberate ourselves from. And this is the opportunity to kind of think about, what is the best case scenario? What if I look at this from the lens of, that is exactly what needed to happen? Everything that happened was perfect so that I could land on the knowing that I have now. Even the pain that I went through was exactly what I needed to go through in order to have this understanding of myself now. There's nothing wrong with optimism and positivity. The fire signs in the zodiac exist to get us out of these dark moments so that we move forward. And this is the time to begin thinking about that. And of course, on November 19th, we have Pluto finally moving into the sign of Aquarius. So think about what I just said with that Mercury trine Chiron and Pluto moving into Aquarius on the same day. This is not an accident. This is the invitation to boldly, confidently, optimistically step into your future, and leave everything behind that doesn't serve you. And more importantly, stop trying to get it perfect. Stop trying to get it right. Because Pluto in Aquarius presents us with an era in which the tried and true of Pluto in Capricorn no longer serves us. So, how can we try to get something right that we've never done before? Right? The methods that we used to use to succeed, to grow, to be in relationship with others, to be in relationship with ourselves, to make money, none of those methods are going to work anymore. And our responsibility, our growth becomes, well, how do I do that? What do you mean? Right? I talked a lot about this in the full moon in Taurus video about what Pluto in Aquarius gets to mean at a personal level, but I'll repeat a little bit of it here. Pluto in Aquarius is the empowerment that comes when we step into different parts of ourselves, when we elevate frequency, when we elevate consciousness, and we begin to connect with our lives in that way, with different people from that space, when we begin to truly acknowledge the energy that we carry and how precious it is, and how that begins to then attract different things, different opportunities, and different people into our lives. So, I would say that those first 3 days of the week, perhaps perhaps Monday night, as Pluto is at its last day in Capricorn in the history of our existence, right? And we have that groundwater trine, that you kind of create a little ceremony for yourself. Write a letter of the things that you're grateful for, that you learned. Write a letter of the things that you're releasing. Light a candle, light some incense. It doesn't have to be anything big, but to truly welcome this Pluto and Aquarius energy. Wednesday, November 20th, we have the moon now transiting the sign of Leo in conjunction to Mars in Leo, in opposition to Pluto in Aquarius. I think this day has the potential to be a little volatile. People might be a little touchy. The potential for certain disagreements or arguments might be there. On the other hand, this is actually quite empowering. A Moon Mars conjunction in Leo gives someone a lot of confidence. I believe myself possible. The opposition to Pluto in Aquarius is saying, yes, I know this is somewhat of an uphill. I know this is a new challenge for me, but we're not so intimidated by the challenge. We're actually excited about the challenge because we get to discover a new part of ourselves. One of the things we're going to have to keep in mind from this point forward as Pluto moves into Aquarius is that the intentions that we set for our visions aren't so much about the outcome of those visions, but so much more about who we become in the process. And so the commitment to our processes, the commitment to the things that we are devoted to matters so, so much more because it is about who we discover ourselves to be in the process. Pluto in Aquarius is the opportunity to discover parts of ourselves that we've never experienced before in this lifetime, to experience creativity in a different way. And the axes of Aquarius Leo, which we're going to have, some experience of this Wednesday, is about when I think about it, what brings me joy? What am I looking forward to? How is this challenge going to help me grow? What do I want to create for myself that comes from the heart? So that is a beautiful day to take advantage, to think about those things. Again, we're getting ready for a Mercury retrograde, so nothing has to be set in stone just yet. But the energy is saying, Pluto in Aquarius, let's think, let's get excited, let's have certain conversations. Yes, the holidays are coming up, so a lot of things are going to move slowly, totally okay. But let's get excited. Let's really understand that what is not coming with us, it's just not coming with us. What's in the past is in the past. Thursday, November 24th, we begin Sagittarius season, right? And Sagittarius season is going to be quite a breath of fresh air. from the processing of Scorpio season, which, by the way, went by really quickly. It felt like it went by really quickly. It didn't feel as intense as I thought it was going to feel, which is pretty new considering the last couple of years and the Scorpio seasons we've experienced then. I just think that this last Scorpio season just simply came with immense amount of clarity. Like, no doubt, very Scorpio, very black and white, very yes or no, this or that. And I think that there's something about that that just kind of eases us from trying to make something work that's not working, trying to convince someone of something to see it our way. No. So Thursday, November 21st, with the sun moving into Sagittarius and remaining there for a month, we kind of get to take a break a little bit of all of that processing. There's a celebration. There's an acceptance of, this is where I'm headed now. This is who I am now. I celebrate my growth, right? My expansion, growth and expansion, Sagittarian terms. I get to celebrate how much my life has taught me and I continue to learn from it, right? Sagittarius energy. And the first thing that the sun in Sagittarius does as it moves into that sign is that it creates a perfect sextile to Pluto, newly entered in Aquarius. The Sun-Pluto connections are incredibly empowering, especially a sextile. So the sun in Sagittarius says, this is who I am now. This is what I've left behind. I feel very optimistic about the future. I feel very optimistic about myself. I'm joyous. I'm looking forward to it. The sextile to Pluto in Aquarius says, yes, you've got this. Dare to do the thing that's different. Dare to move forward. Dare to step out of the comfort zone. That's what it's there for. Now, if you are not necessarily experiencing the optimism of Sagittarius energy, you're allowed to be where you are. You're allowed to be 1,000% where you are. But what I invite you to open yourself up for a little bit is the understanding that you will move past this. And if there is anything that this energy promises, is that. It's that. Because Sagittarius is a sign that is always looking beyond the horizon. It's always looking to something foreign, whether it's physically a foreign land or something foreign in your life, something new in your life, something expansive in your life. And the sextile to Pluto is saying, and this is going to transform you if you let it in. This is going to transform you and help you grow if you let it in. But you have to trust, even if you cannot yet see the clear path ahead, because we are not familiar with the path ahead. But can we open ourselves up to the fact that everything that has led us to this point has been perfect and has been exactly what we've needed to have the knowing that we have now? And if that's true, why wouldn't we trust that the future looks the same? And that's what the sextile invites you to do. Now, the weekend of November 22nd through the 24th, I really like this energy. It's very grounded energy. We have Venus in Capricorn create a sextile to Saturn in Pisces, both at 13 degrees. And the moon is going to be transiting the sign of Virgo. So on the one hand, great weekend for productivity. Moon in Virgo likes to move, likes to take care of certain tasks. When the moon in Virgo falls on a weekend, people tend to declutter or clean their spaces or pack things or, get stuff in order. The sextile between Venus and Capricorn and Saturn and Pisces is the commitment to do that. So I can definitely see people this weekend getting ready for Thanksgiving, right? Here in the United States, because Thanksgiving will be the following week, right? So little things like that. On the other hand, this is also great energy for dates, first dates, right? Don't read too much into it. If it's a first date, Mercury's getting ready to retrograde. But this gives very grounded energy where it's not all frazzled. You don't have to be very nervous. You don't have to kind of fight for your words. This is also a great weekend to be with friends that ground you, be with friends that can give you an honest perspective, especially around something in the future, right? This has the potential to hold conversations about serious agreements that don't have to be solidified just now, but that can be worked over the next 4 to 6 weeks. This is about also making a commitment to yourself. So I'm excited about a certain something. I'm optimistic about the future. And this is what I want to commit myself to. Now, I personally love the week ahead. I understand that we are still under the influence of that full moon in Taurus of November 15th. We are still under the influence of the Mars-Pluto oppositions, right? Pluto moving into Aquarius might bring a change of events, particularly globally. I understand that these things are happening, and I want you to take note to how life continues to move forward day by day, right? And that this energy is still available to you because you still get to live. You still get to dream. You still get to create something for yourself that feels much more you than it ever has before. That is Pluto in Aquarius. That is the invitation of Pluto in Aquarius. Because Pluto is an outer planet, there's so much that Pluto in Aquarius is going to manifest that is out of our control. But life in general is out of our control. How we choose to live it on the day to day, what we choose to focus on the day to day, where we choose to put our time, energy, effort, attention, love, that is on us. And we must never forget that, because with as much noise as there is in the world, it is very, very easy to get distracted and to get swept away by all of that and to miss out on our own lives, on our own growth. And it is simply not worth it. The way that we actually make the world a better place is by being mindful of our own existence and by choosing love over fear day in and day out. Okay. So, so much love to you. Thank you all so much for joining me every single week. It has been a pleasure to meet so many of you in the year ahead readings. The link is below if you're interested in having a chat with me and me doing that reading for you. Get on my calendar. I am also going to begin offering and opening up spaces for personal spiritual coaching if that's something that you're interested in. If you want to chat about that, I'm also going to leave a link below so that we have a free conversation to see if we're a right fit. Other than that, may this be of service. I'll talk to you next week.